Hey, baby, I want you to know, could you be my girl? I hope y'all sleeping tonight or this morning. I ain't go to bed yet. So when you can't sleep, why bother? We're gonna make a little coffee in the mocha pot. And that's what we're gonna do. That's gonna work for me. Some of these folks tell you to stamp it down and all that good stuff. I ain't gonna. You make your mocha your way, I'm gonna make my mocha mine. Just like that. Now keep in mind, that's man, that's a pot, man. That is a pot. This is a pot. This my ugly pot. That is a pot. Pot of pots right there. So like I said, we're gonna make a little coffee in the mocha pot. And I want to show you my 5-gallon Dutch oven. This is like a 2 gallon. 5 gallons, 2 gallons. Just to show you how big a 5-gallon jambalaya Dutch oven is. This is just a standard tea kettle. Just to show you how big the pot is, you know. So it's huge. And so we know this is 20 quarts because 4 quarts is 1 gallon. And if you ever watch the channel, you'll know that this is my ugly pot. I do a lot of cooking in that ugly pot and my other cast iron pot. But anyway, we're gonna brew a little coffee in the mocha pot. And I wanted to just talk just for a brief moment about like making content. So I saw a video just a little bit ago and it was talking about making content and different things you could do. I just want to say this. Personally, I don't have a biological clock as far as making content, monetization, Patreon, all of that stuff. Now, some people start YouTube channels with the idea of trying to go viral and be gimmicky and all that other stuff. And you know what? That's fine. That's a totally separate niche, and it's fine. That's not me. My whole purpose, I'm 1/3 of Pause and Play NOLA, and my whole purpose was just for us to share a bit of our life every day. That's it. No more, no less. Where it goes, we'll see. But anyway, coffee time is a time where most people enjoy a hot beverage, whether they're solo or with people, and they try to solve the world's problems. I grew up in the city of New Orleans, and coffee time was a special time. But when I became a firefighter, you know, coffee time, that was, it was like George Washington and Sam Adams them a lot, enjoying a cup of coffee. You know, we talked about administration, the woes of the job, the mess, the grind, all of that stuff. You know, so coffee time is a special time. This burner is putting out some BTUs, man. My cup got hot. All right, we get a little lift. Let me turn the heat down a little bit because you want your steam to be steady and you don't want it to be too hot from what the experts say. But anyway, I kind of like this flow rate right now. But as the color turns from dark to light, it's going to start to regurgitate. And that's when you just need to close your lid, you know, because you don't want this to shoot all over you. If you go on my TikTok, I got a video of this little pot discharging at least 25 inches of hot water. And that's on my TikTok. But thanks for hopping on. If you got any questions about mocha pot, coffee time, cast iron, New Orleans, whatever. Leave your comments down in the section. I'll be happy to answer them. I do answer all comments that come. So that's one of the nice things about the channel, you know. You're talking to a live person. But that water was very tasty. Warm my cup up a little bit. And so this mocha pot pours 1 cup. I don't know if this is a 4 or a 6 ounce cup. I need to figure that out. But that's how you know your mocha pot is ready. You don't have any more liquid coming from the reservoir, and you're good. Now most people sit it on the side, but I like to burn my tongue every time I drink coffee. There we go, baby. Give you the first sip. All right, it's a good cup. So thanks for hopping on. My one recommendation to anybody that makes content, on any platform, just make your content. Record your content, upload it. Don't have expectations by putting a biological clock on you, because that's not going to help you making content. I don't know what that means, Justin, Michael, but thanks. You should have spelled it PAWS. Yeah, but make your content. That's the whole purpose of this. Also, I'm going to be cooking in this big Dutch oven very soon. I thought I was going to do it yesterday, but it just didn't work out. I got home late. I do a lot of, and let me just explain this while we're talking about it. This is a cast iron Dutch oven. It has an enamel coating on it. And the reason I call it my ugly pot, because all of these Dutch ovens that are enamel coated, they all get ugly. And they're great pots to use. I prefer the black ones, you know. I prefer the black ones. And let me just show you this right quick. This is some of my pots right there. So this is my very first Dutch oven. This pot over 20 years old. I do little mini Dutch oven recipes too. And back here, I have a few mini skillets. I do some mini cooking in a Dutch oven. Now this is a jambalaya pot. If you notice how beautifully round and it has legs. Now this little bad boy right here, this is a mini Dutch oven. Let me show you that next to this, man. You know, it's a mini. It's a mini Dutch oven, you know. And look, man, these things are very popular. A lot of people, it's not just a novelty thing. It's a really popular way to cook. And I think I got 2 recipes on the net with that one. This little baby here, this is one of my favorite mini Dutch oven pieces. It's a little casserole dish. And I think I got this one for like $5. This is a fryer. This is a fryer right here. And it's a really, it's a great piece. It's a great piece. Now I'm missing, oh yeah, it's in here. Now, I shouldn't be showing you all of this, but this Dutch oven right here, I bought this one for $15. And when I was firefighting, this is the size Dutch ovens we have at the station, you know. And so I got a big 15 or 16 inch skillet, some more little skillets, you know. Got a few griddles, you know, but that's just Dutch oven cooking. Big stock pots and my copper pot. I'm gonna make some candy soon, and I'll show you. Is it pink? Is it pink? I don't know what that means. I neither. But no, I don't have no OnlyFans. Nah, I don't have an OnlyFans. You got the wrong channel. Promise you that. But anyway, y'all enjoy your morning. I didn't know all the freaks came out at night. I'm doing pretty good. Peyton, how you doing, Peyton? So we was just doing coffee time, for sure. Thank you. Yeah, we were just. I do a little thing called coffee time. You know, when I was firefighting, you solve a lot of problems over a cup of coffee. You know, and so I just use the mocha pot, the baby mocha, to make a nice little cup. It is 1:58 a.m. So it's Saturday morning, 1:58 a.m. Have not been sleeping tonight. What area are you in, Peyton? Yes, I was a firefighter for 13 years, and I got myself hurt. That's a different story. And so I ended up getting disabled because I did not want to go back to work hurt and risk hurting someone. So, oh, help your spelling. Your spelling is fine. For sure. It was my pleasure. I had a good time and a good run firefighting. Western US. I never been out west. The furthest I'm in New Orleans, actually, New Orleans, Louisiana. The furthest west I've ever been was Texas. I think Houston, Texas. But you could drive all day and still be in Texas. You know, it's a huge place. But I just was talking tonight about, this morning about content creators. I had saw a video just a little while ago, and they were talking about how to be successful making content. And a lot of people put a biological clock on their content creating, and it's rather annoying. You know, it's rather annoying. You can't make people watch your videos. You can't make people like, comment, subscribe. You can't make people do anything. You know, it's like you're making a video, make your video, record your video, upload your video, and keep recording videos and uploading videos. Eventually, you'll get something. But don't put pressure on yourself, you know? Yeah. So interestingly, I started making content September of 2024. And I have a few friends who one really wanted me to start making content. I had no desire to make content on YouTube. And I don't know what you mean, Ned. So if you could please explain what you mean, might be a little bit more helpful. So I started making content. My goal was just to record a little bit of my life every day, no more, no less. You know, if you look at any of my videos, I never, not one time, asked anybody to subscribe to my channel because I don't believe in doing that. I think if people want to subscribe, they should subscribe. You know, that way when they don't subscribe, well, I never asked you to subscribe. You know, hey, you can stick around for the ride if you want to, but guess what? That's up to you. You can watch whatever you want with your time as an adult. So I don't want to have strings attached and all that stuff, you know. But I can't help but notice a lot of people that really want. Thank you, Peyton. I really appreciate that. You have a cool name too. Um, it reminds me of the movie Silverado. I think who was in Silverado? Kevin Costner, Brian Dennehy, was it? Calvin Klein. I think Calvin Klein's name was Peyton in the movie. And I don't know if you ever saw it, but it was out west. And there was a dog involved. And, you know, one of those Western movies. Yep. Appreciate that. Do you make content too, Peyton? It's an older movie too. I think it may be from the late 80s, early 90s. But it was a really good picture. Oh yeah, for sure. Well look, make sure you do everything in accord with the law of your parents, the law of the law, Caesar, and all of that good stuff. It's not worth getting yourself wrapped up in nothing. I do watch a lot of movies like that, though. I ride horse. Hey, that's pretty cool. Uh, Hidalgo, Hidalgo was a really good horse movie. I don't know if you ever saw that one. Hidalgo. It was about a wild Mustang and a cowboy, and they raced this race in the desert, and they raced against these Arabian mares and stuff, these beautiful race horses, and it was a really good story. So the princess gets in a bind, and it was an action movie, but it was a really good movie. Hidalgo. You need to be honest. I appreciate you being with me. I will have to watch that. Sounds cool. Yeah, I really enjoyed it. I think I've seen it about 4 times. I don't know of any other horse movies. I wanted to see Seabiscuit. I never watched it though. The Kentucky Derby movie. But I will tell you a pretty cool horse story, Peyton. So my family is from the city of New Orleans, and New Orleans is a very big horse city. A lot of people in the city of New Orleans have horses. So my dad, when he was in school coming up, yeah, Nedge, we are a horse people. My dad, when he was coming up, they had a horse his whole life in the city of New Orleans. And they have something called neutral ground. So you'll have a street, and in the middle of the street, they have green grass. They call it the neutral ground. So a lot of people would let their horses eat grass in the neutral ground, like when the kids get out of school, or they would ride their horses on the levee. But it's very common on a Sunday to just be driving around the city of New Orleans, and you'll see cowboys and cowgirls, city cowboys and city cowgirls riding their horses all around the city. So that's a real true fact. New Orleans is a horse city. We have a fairgrounds in the city of New Orleans as well. My grandfather, when he was younger, he was always a small guy. So he was under 5. Well, I'm 5'11", so he had to be around 5'6". And yeah, 5'6". But he was a small frame guy. And they called him Minnie. And so New Orleans was also a segregated city. But my grandfather, during the times of segregation, I live in a small country town, lots of horses everywhere. That's really cool. That's really cool. That is really cool. When my grandfather was small, they always hung out at the fairgrounds. So he was small enough to be a jockey, because when you jockey horses, you need to be strong, but you also need to be light, because they don't want a big 400-pound man on the horse, So it's all about speed and control. And so he could have been a jockey because he had the size for it, but he didn't want to do that. So I don't know if you ever heard of Hurricane Katrina. It was a storm that affected the whole Gulf Coast. And for Hurricane Katrina, we evacuated to Mississippi. We got a little plot of land in Mississippi. And so my grandfather brought his horse. And so his horse belonged to a blind man. Okay, cool. Yeah. Yep. 2005, August 29, 2005. So my grandfather brought his horse to Mississippi. And so we ended up staying in Mississippi a little longer than we expected because of the hurricane. Well, I was riding a horse one day, and I probably was about 215 to 230 pounds. And so the horse was a really beautiful Tennessee Walker. It was black and real beautiful. But like I said, the original owner was blind. And so the horse was a little ornery and stubborn. So when I would ride the horse, like on this one particular instance, instead of me just riding in the pasture, I took him out to the road. So I rode down the driveway, I rode up and down the road, and when the horse would get tired, he didn't want to ride. He'll just stay there. He would just stop. So you tell him giddy up and hit him with your legs, and he wouldn't want to go. So he acted a fool one day on the road, and so what he did, because he was tired of me being on him, he brought me to the barbed wire fence. Now my leg is really close to the barbed wire, so he called himself trying to get me off him. So he would walk up to the barbed wire fence and get really close to it, as if he was going to put me on it. So I got off him, I brought him back to the road, I mounted again, and then he did the same thing. So the third time he did it, like I said, it was my pawpaw horse, so I didn't want to, so I brought him back to the house. I walked him all the way home, probably about 1.5 miles. And so my pawpaw was like, "What he did?" I said, "Yeah, Paw, he put me on a barbed wire fence." So man, pawpaw rode the horse down the driveway, checked the mailbox while he was on him, rode him up and down the road, rode him all around. And he kept telling me, he was like, you can't just let him do what you want him to do. Or you can't let him do what he wants to do. He's a horse. And so I'm like, but yeah, he's your horse. He isn't my horse, But I didn't, So anyway, so that was a pretty cool horse story. But when my grandfather died, before he died, he had Alzheimer's. And so he couldn't take care of no horse. So one of my uncles sold a horse or gave him to somebody that lived out there, So that's kind of what happened with my grandfather's horse. But thank you. I appreciate that, Peyton. But he lived a good life. He was an outdoorsman. He he fished, he helped everybody he could. He lived a good life, And I enjoyed many fond moments with him. One night, this was during Hurricane Katrina aftermath. Yeah, it is. You have to treasure the moments that you had. And look, there's times I still cry about him, but we had a lot of good moments. In fact, let me show you this right quick. So when he passed away, my aunt, she had gave me his ring. We have the same initials, so she gave me his ring. And so I wore it for probably 5 or 6 months. And, I remember being a little boy, always seeing that ring on his finger. And what's crazy, his ring finger is the size of my pinky finger, So, but one day I gave the ring to my brother right under me, a biker, because I told him, I said, "Look, man, you need to remember your grandpa. So here's his ring, So I gave him the ring. And this is his belt buckle. It's one of those Montana Silversmith belt buckles. And he bought it before Hurricane. So it's over 20 years old, the buckle. And so I'm going to give this one to my baby brother. And so he can remember his pawpaw, Yeah, it is. It needs to probably be refinished, I tried to polish it up a little bit. Montana Silversmith, Columbus, Montana. And but yeah, so I got his belt buckle, and I'm gonna get that to my baby brother, But we got a lot of good memories, We got a lot of good memories. And we had a lot of good times together, I wish we would have had more time together, but that just was not what it was, So you cherish what you got. Cherish what you got. What kind of horses do you like? Do you like paints, or do you like solids? Do you like mares, fillies, bucks, stallions? Yeah, gotta pass it on. So my baby brother, I don't think my baby brother remember as much as I do, being with him. So that's why I'm gonna give him the belt buckle, because I got memories. So I got something from him. I got memories, you know. I got the same blood, hunting and fishing, you know, stuff like that. So I have enough from it, if that makes sense. I love mares and I love Andalusians and Clydesdales. Okay. I don't know if I ever seen an Andalusian, but I do know what a Clydesdale is. I know what mares are. Um, Andalusians. Let me get my tablet right quick. Andalusians. Now I know in Alabama there is a city called Is it Andalusia? Something like that. Let me pull it up. Andal Andalusian horse. Oh, okay. Andalusian. Okay, they're beautiful. Are these like the horses that they have down in Latin America? That looks very Latin American, like some of the horses down there. See a little dapper gray right there. Andalusian. I think. Let's see. I don't think I can ride a Clydesdale though. I'm so sure. You could do it. You know, you could do it. If a mosquito can ride it, you can ride it. You just got to hold on, you know? You just got to hold on. Yeah, I'm 5'11", so I always wanted to be 6 foot. Yes, look up a white one. They're gorgeous. I'm going to do that. I'm going to check that out. A white Andalusian. Yeah, I'm 5'11", so I don't feel short, but I don't feel tall. The only time I feel tall. Oh wow, okay. So I wonder if George Washington. I wonder if George Washington had a white Andalusian. Because you know sometimes they see those on all of those battle pictures of commanders. You see them on a white horse. I wonder if that's what they're mimicking, an Andalusian. Yeah. I appreciate you telling me about that too, Peyton. And afraid of heights. So I'll tell you this. When I was right when I was trying to get hired on as a firefighter, um, so part of the training, my favorite horse, believe it or not, my favorite horse is a Palomino, hands down. But but I like paint horses. I like paints. I think paints because they're not solid. Like one of my great uncles, he had a Tennessee Walker. It was solid black. Everything was black, and that was his name, Black. But my favorite horse when I was a kid was a Palomino. But then once I got a little bit older, I think no way, yeah, yeah. I think when I got older, my favorite horse became just a paint, any paint. I don't know if I like the black and white or the red and white. I don't know which one I like more. But like my big brother, his favorite horse was always a Dapper Gray. Yeah. My big brother's favorite horse was always a Dapper Gray. So I don't know I don't know, but I like paints now. Fillies, you know, I like paints now. I think I done got a little older, so I'm not as. I still love Palominos, but I think a paint would be my favorite if I had to say that. Yeah, Dapple Gray. That was my big brother's favorite when we were coming up, because we used to get like little play horses and stuff like that, and we play cowboys and stuff like that. But a Dapper Gray was his favorite. Yep. Okay. Ned's chest. Ned's, what part of the country are you in? I don't know if you're talking to me or Peyton, Ned's. They're beautiful horses. But my grandfather's horse, the one that was originally for the blind man, because the owner and the rider was blind, the horse would go wherever it wanted to go. And so that was the problem with my grandfather's horse. It was used to going wherever it wanted to go. So he was a little ornery, a little stubborn. Yep. I have a friend in New Mexico, Albuquerque. I have another friend in Boulder, Colorado. And I got a few friends in like the Seattle area. I got a few friends in Pagosa Springs, Colorado. Some friends in California. But I've never made it out west. I really want to go to Utah. Yeah, my horse just tries to go through the gate. So y'all have is it a ranch or is it a farm, Peyton? Or just a few acres? And Ned's, what part of the world are you in, Ned's? I hope I said that right. It's so hard to read different phonics as far as how people spell stuff, especially on the internet. So my friend owns the horse, but I'll buy him hopefully in a couple of years. So I ride her. That's really good. Yeah, that's really cool. So there's a guy on Facebook Marketplace, and I don't know if this is something you could do, but what he does, because he's low on funds, what he does is he gets so what he'll do is he'll say, I want to get a goat, but I don't have money for a goat. So what he does is he'll call up the person who's selling goats, and he'll say, hey, can I come work a day for you on the farm, and you give me one goat? And most times he says that people go for it. So whether you have to work a few weeks or a few months, like if you could do some extra work for them on their farm, and you could work for the horse that way, as opposed to buying a horse. And then you could get the horse, in theory, faster than later. I don't know if that'll work. Unless, of course, the friend was just selling it because they needed the money, as opposed to the labor, which is money, but, you know. So he basically, yeah, that's what he does for everything. If he wants a pig, if he wants a chicken, he'll tell the person who's selling them, hey, can I come work? I'll bale hay, I'll shovel manure, I'll tend the animals, I'll do whatever. I'll nail up some fence, I'll run some barbed wire, whatever you need done, I'll do that. And at the end of the arrangement, he walks away with the animal. I think it's pretty genius. Yeah, they have some smart people out there. And he passed that on for free, you know? He passed that on for free. Now, other things people do, depending on like where you live at, and depending on like, you know, depending on the situation you're in, some people, like there's this guy, he talks about ranching. I think he made a TikTok and all he talks about is ranching. And he explains like some of the tools you need to ranch, or the cowboy, excuse me. He talks all about cowboying. The one main thing about buying a horse is when I get him, I'll be leaving for the military. Oh, yeah. That might cause a little conflict. Yep. It might cause a conflict. Let me show you this. Hang on one sec. So I was around town today, and I stopped at this secondhand store, and so I was just like browsing, just looking through it for actually for a light, and I saw this old pocket knife. I'm like, man, that's interesting. I never seen anything like that. And so when you look at it, the guy who owned it, he carved his name in it or his initials, and then he put World War II and Korea on the knife. And his name is Ray Cook Sr. Yeah, his name is Ray Cook Sr. Now look, so the lady who sold this knife to me at the shop, she said it belonged to her father. And so I'm like, well, how much do you want for it? And if you take a guess, take a so she said, well, I said, well, how much do you want for it? And she said $15, So I opened it up. I'm like, man, that's a nice blade, Now, I kept looking right here at this, and this is just a little tab to close it, the tab to close it, right? And so tonight, when I was picking my daughter up from work, I was looking, and I'm like, what's that right there, So I flipped that, and it's a saw blade. How you like that? I'm tickled pink to own this thing. So it's a really cool, practical knife. So I'm gonna build a little sheath for it, and it'll just be a little sliding sheath that I'm gonna build for it. But I'm really excited about having it, and I'm gonna try to take care of it. So, yeah, it's really cool. It's really cool. So you have the fixed blade, and then you have the saw blade on it. And I just think that is so practical, so cool, It's a nice blade. So this was another one. So it was just in a case like this, So he wrote on it, William Cook, Vietnam, 1972, on a knife. Original leather grips and all, And it's a Camelus, New York, 10-1975. So they made quite a few of them, but it's a really old blade, So I'm happy to have them, They come in handy for a lot of different uses, but I'm really happy to have it. So it was a nice little deal. It's got the little whetstone in it, And it needs to be oiled up because they got a lot of salt that came out of that, And then he wrote his name on the back, William D. Clark. So I'm really excited about him, Really excited about him. I have a few blades just around the house and in different hunting bags and stuff like that. That is also a very cool knife. Seems like something a vintage collector would own. Love that kind of thing. Yeah. She said her dad was like 92. He was like 92. And so she was selling it, and I thought that, she doesn't need it, but I mean, I would have saved it. But she's got to be in her 60s, maybe her 70s, Yeah, maybe her 70s. So she owns a shop. So she sells everything that people pawn or are just trying to outright sell, But it was still pretty cool to come across because you don't see old stuff like that every day, I hope so. Now, I'm going to take care of it, though. On my, like when I go rabbit hunting, I have a little pouch, and I keep my great uncle's knife on it from, I think it was from World War II. I keep that knife on my pouch. It's always on that pouch. And, I kind of feel good about having it because it's like, he had it, he used it, I have it, I'm using it, kind of one of those things. I baby it too. I don't really do anything significantly crazy with it because, you know, you want to take care of, you know, heirlooms, you know. Yep. But I really enjoyed acquiring these two. And so I'm going to figure out where I want to put them. But I think I'm going to just carry this one as an everyday pocket knife, you know. And I just love the actual the blade. It's a big blade. It has nice lines on it, and I'm really excited about it. I think you could buy these on the internet. I seen a few once I looked it up tonight on eBay for like $130. So to get it for $15 was like, no way. But I'm gonna take care of it. And then when I'm done with it, I'm gonna pass it on to somebody else, you know, who will, of course, you know, try to take care of it too. Yep. Yeah, okay, Peyton, for sure. And I'll follow your page as well, you know, and I wish you the best in all of your endeavors, you know what I mean? But I'm gonna shut the live down because even though I'm not tired, uh, you know, coffee's gone. So I'll see y'all around, and thanks for hopping on and jumping in, and thanks for interacting. I really appreciate that so much. Yes, yes, for sure, Peyton. Y'all take care now. Thanks so much. Y'all have a good night as well.